Hello YouTubers. Let me switch the camera. Hopefully I can switch it over to the other side. There we go. We're working with a 99 Dodge Caravan and our problem, well, let me show you what the problem is. Um, Customer came to me with a valve body and leaking transmission. Transmission was making weird sounds. So I had to kind of take a look at what was going on. The vehicle, let me see if I can zoom in. It has 254,000 miles on it. But what's going on is, it's me starting it. And you see what's going on right here? It's supposed to say park. It's supposed to say park, reverse, neutral, drive, third and low gear. And it's only supposed to have the square around it when you're locked into that gear. So I'm going to put the vehicle in gear so you can see what's going on. And I'm going to hit reverse. And she shuts off. So I'm going to put her in neutral. And she starts. As you can see, she's still doing the same thing. And you hear that clunking and she goes off. After doing a bunch of research and looking at the VIN number, as you can see, that's right there. I went off by the VIN number and it's code over there. And when I come here and I start looking at the electronic control modular or the power control modular, however you want to put it, you begin to find out that they put it on the stupidest location. Water flows here and it flows this way because there's nothing stopping my finger, not like the other vehicles that have a lip and it stops. So it flows here and it gets this way. And then you have a ground cable going from here all the way underneath the vehicle to the main line, or underneath the power distribution line going to the main wire, and it's going to the ground to ground the ECM. But the biggest problem that I have is that someone changed the power control modular, and as you can see right there, that writing in blue that you see, that came from Pick and Pull in Rancho Cordova and from the Premier section. And I'm saying that because I know most of their writings. I've been in California for 5 years, and I know when mechanics go to the junkyard and pick out, parts. One thing about Dodges, I don't care what line, what brand, if it's Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or that other, whatever Mopar brand it is, they suffer from that and that. But I spent 3 hours trying to figure out what the hell is going on with this vehicle. I'm over here thinking it's the idle air control unit. Then I saw this like this, and I'm meaning, look, it literally moves. It doesn't stay stuck. But that's not my problem because it didn't come in with that. It came in with a wiper problem. The wiper motor, we replaced the motor. It's up and working. Fuse and relay was blown. We took care of that. Customer took it out and it came back on a flatbed because the power control modular and the transmission control modular, TCM and the ECM, were not properly communicating with each other. So then I put my scanner on it, and I try to read um, the VIN number of the transmission control modular, which is on this side first, and then I try to read the power control modular or the electronic control modular on this side, and this one is not matching the VIN number of the vehicle, and that one's not even matching this one or the VIN number of the vehicle, so they have to be reprogrammed. For you guys that are having this problem, the only way around this, and you have to take it to the dealership, not unless you have the dealership programming and computer so that you can program it yourself anywhere else, or you need a snap-on scan tool to reprogram the computers and make sure that the computers are actually talking to each other properly. I don't know where else to go from this because I know that the VIN numbers are not matching. I was gonna go and replace both computer and the modular out of it, but then the customer left a piece of paper, and excuse me if I have to walk a little bit far. Kind of like working on my vehicles out in the back and not in, the front of my house. But I had no other choice. That's where the tow truck dropped it off at, and that's where I had to continue. But after doing some digging, and this is what I found in the customer's glove box. Let's see if I can get it to autofocus. I guess I can't. It doesn't want to autofocus on me. VIN number 1, it says replace transmission modular, which is the one with the blue writing that you saw. The power steering, I really don't care about that. I don't care about if they changed the spark plugs 2 years ago. I don't care about the ignition switch, the brake switch, the headlight assembly, the brake pads and shoes in the front. But this is where I start caring about. Car sat in garage for 2 years. Okay? And then this is where I kind of don't know if they done this or not, but change oil filter every 6 months when it was running. So I don't know how long it's been running. But number 10 is where it gets me. No start. Once took it to the repair shop to diagnose, they found a short in one of the wire behind the instrument cluster panel. I'm not sure if you can read that very well. I'm trying to get it to auto zoom, but unfortunately I'm tapping on my screen, but because I'm doing this live and I've never used my tablet to do this, I can't get it to autofocus. And I know last time someone gave me shit when I did one of my videos about my Dodge Durango and the electronic control modular. They couldn't, they couldn't see, or they couldn't get it, or I couldn't get my camera to focus in, and they gave me hell for it. And then, as you see here, green wire out of fuse and relay distribution. Black box is a ground wire, but that's not going to the distribution block, and that's not even going from the ground or the chassis to the fuse box. It's actually going to the power control modular or the electronic control modular, which is the main computer of the car. So that right there automatically tells me that they already had a problem with the no shift, no gear, no start condition. I'm not going to keep on beating my head over this. I already spoke to Dodge, and Dodge already told me that it has to be reprogrammed. And sorry, but I'm trying to bring up my recording. And that's me hitting my password. But for those who don't know, your phone, it records in and out conversation. I found a special feature on my phone that does this. I didn't have to download an app. It was actually hidden inside the phone. So
welcome to Lasher's Oak Grove Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. For service, press 2.
let me fast forward this a little bit.
3. That's the one next in front of the windshield wiper fluid container. Yeah, not sure on that. Let me see if there's a...
So this is him having me on hold. Well, not actually having me on hold, but actually trying to find out why he's on the line. And he's trying to figure out if that particular model has to be reprogrammed.
Yeah, it looks like there's a few programmings that need to be done to that control module. And can I do it with the snap-on scanner, or does it have to be Dodge or Mopar's scan tool? I mean, most of the time it needs to be with the Dodge one. I'm not sure the capabilities of the snap-on one. I know some of those can do quite a lot, but I'm not. Just depends on what it's set up for. And how much would you guys charge to reprogram the computer? They charge $145. $145? Yeah. Okay. I will let my shop manager.
Okay. So, as you can hear, the problem that I found when you get a P0700 means that your control modular, the transmission control modular, is not communicating with your electronic control modular, which is the brain of your car. So it's like saying your legs are not communicating, or the computer for your legs is not communicating with the heart of your vehicle. Engine turns on, perfect, running. I mean, even though she is running a little bit rough, but for 253,000 miles, you're lucky that she's still running, especially being a Dodge. After replacing the transmission and all of that, the goddamn thing doesn't want to move forward. I've taken the transmission down, put it back on the bench, ran it. I can get the transmission to run up to 100 miles an hour without any vibration, without stalling or anything, off the vehicle in a bench test that's only appropriated for transmission, front wheel drive and rear wheel drive. And I know on my end it's working, but after looking after this note and after finding this piece of paper in the glove box, number one automatically tells me what needs to be done. This control modular, when I look up its ID in my scan tool from Launch, not the Snap-on, but the Launch tool, which is specifically made for transmission only, meaning I can reprogram transmissions with this modular. I can set parameters, I can set the drive line, I can basically set shift points. I can do whatever I need to do with this scanner, and I can do it with my phone. Let me go back, and hopefully I can find that program. Oh, my kids must have been in my phone, but it's called Easy Diagnostic, and that's made by Launch. And you throw the scanner in, you hit what vehicle it belongs to, and I can go in and get parameters, so I can even download even more options and fiddle around with the vehicle. Everything that a $3,000 scanner does, as far as communication wise, I can do it with my phone or tablet or any other Android or Apple device. Um, I don't have the features of the probing, and I don't have the features of how you say, the little wires for you to add, your probes and your negative and check, wavelength and all of that. But I got the basics, and if the computer can do it, it can do it. So I don't know what else to do. I'm trying to make a video, but this has been going out live. Hopefully it will save it to my YouTube channel. If it doesn't, then I'm going to try to do the video again. It's getting late at night. I'm tired of messing around with this vehicle. I've been on this vehicle all day, and I'm kind of already frustrated. I'm ready to light it up with gasoline and set it on fire and tell the customer, collect your insurance, or up your insurance before I set it on fire and then go collect your insurance. Because at this point, that vehicle is becoming a paperweight, and throwing parts and money at it is not going to solve its problem when you have other technicians doing stupid shit like this and not informing the customer, and then the customer takes the vehicle off not knowing that it had to go to the dealer and reprogram that goddamn computer to match the VIN number. I really don't know what else to do. I'm right now sticking a fork in this because that vehicle, for me, it is done. They paid for me rebuilding the transmission. The transmission's rebuilt, but I'm not going to fix someone else's problems when I'm only getting paid just to do one job. And I already spoke to the customer, and the customer right now is speaking to the other mechanic and the other shop and is duking it out with the other mechanic. Apparently, I guess they had some kind of warranty or something, and the technician that kind of warranted that gave them a year, and it's been less than a year. It hasn't even been 3 months, and the vehicle's back at the same spot. And when I got a hold of it and took the transmission out, I showed the customer that all the clutches inside that transmission and the gear was completely gone. No clutch material, no gear, and a couple of gears were actually broken inside. But supposedly, they did the transmission for them. This is why they got the year warranty, and they kind of fixed this, and they did a couple of other things that, the customer wasn't aware of, but this was left in their glove box. So whoever did this job was stupid enough to do this and leave it in the glove box for their customer. And when I found it and showed it to the customer started to remember that, yeah, this was one of the things that they changed out. And then I showed them the blue marking on the transmission control modular that's coming from Pick and Pull, Rancho Cordova, Premier side of the Pick and Pull side, and had the customer call to verify that, yep, that number that they have does match one of their Pick and Pull numbers that came out of there. And we got down to the nitty gritty of things, and This is why it's very important, and I'm meaning it is very important for you to ask multiple questions and not just to trust your mechanic or your technician or your repair shop or the dealership in what they're doing. I'm a technician myself, I'm an engineer, and I always question everything they do. In fact, sometimes I even want to sit in front of my vehicle and watch the technician work because I don't trust nobody with my vehicle. If I take out 5 screws, I want those 5 screws to be put back and put back the same way they took it out. Unfortunately, some of these technicians are not as clean as I am, and I try to do things professionally. I'm not saying that none of them do things professionally, but at least, we try to strive to be best. This is why I work out of my house and not a repair shop, because I can offer better prices for my customers than what these repair shops can actually do. And I'm licensed to work on my property, and I have both federal, state, and city recognition for it. At this point, I'm going to end this video here. If anyone else can point me in the right direction, hey, you're helping another technician out. Because at this point, the customer just wanted to be bypassed, and I don't have the proper software to keep on playing around with this vehicle and trying to communicate with this vehicle so that I can reprogram the TCM and the ECM or PCM to match the VIN numbers. This is something that Dodge is going to have to do, and because they still have number 10, which is the short behind the dashboard, that is something that they're going to have to figure out. I've spoken to the customer about that, and they had no clue that number 10 was going on and that they had any issues, but they did explain to me, since they brought the vehicle to me, there's times that the tachometer is actually working, and there's times when the tachometer is not, and when the tachometer is not working, the vehicle doesn't want to go into drive. So that's another indication that there is multiple shorts somewhere. And that right there kind of pushes me away from this vehicle. This is why I do not like to work on, and God forbid that I'm saying this, but I do not like to work on Chrysler vehicles. I own or had a 2013 Dodge Durango Citadel. Less than 30,000 miles, and as you can see in one of my videos, the ETC, I think that's what it's called, the electronic throttle control modular, wasn't responding with what I was doing in the foot pedal, and the car wouldn't crank over, and actually the car left me on the side of the goddamn road in 2013 when I got it. And it kind of pissed me off that a brand new vehicle is leaving me on the side of the road. Then you find out that the relay kind of went out, and that the goddamn vehicle is a fly-by-wire, and it didn't fly with me because Toyota had issues with the fly-by-wire system. And I don't know if you guys recall that a bunch of Toyotas was accelerating to the point where they were causing crashes. Well, they kind of reversed it the other way, and now you're no longer having throttle acceleration, but the vehicle is actually dying out on you. And this happens with Rams, this happens with Dodges, Jeeps, Chrysler, even though I know Chrysler no longer exists, but this is what's going on with these three brands. But not only specifically with Dodge, but with other vehicles that have the fly-by-wire system. But I'm getting off my topic here. I'm actually rambling about my experience with Dodge, and this is why I don't like domestic vehicles. I'm not into Chevy, I'm not into Ford, I'm not into anything domestically made by my country. I'm sorry. I love my country. I'm a patriot. I served for this country. I bled. I have wounds that majority of you don't know. I still got shrapnel inside of me, but for the love of God, I will not buy anything American or anything made supposedly here in America, as they say, because nothing is made in America anymore. Everything is made overseas and may be assembled here, but nothing is made here in the United States. I can open up that control modular, number one, and look at where it was manufactured and where it was produced. And it's going to show you either Mexico, Indonesia, or the Philippines, or China. But it wasn't made in the United States. And I can guarantee you that that was not made here in the United States. This is why all these cars are having all these problems, whether they made here in the United States, whether they made somewhere else in another country. Your parts are coming at the lowest bidder, because that's the way it is. To save money, to save a penny, they will go and they will literally go for the cheapest price and upsell it to you. And if you think I'm kind of joking, let's see. I'm trying to look at where this one was made at. But then you see all these warning markings, and you begin to find out that this water, even though it says it was made here and it was bottled and produced here in the country, this particular plastic was not made in the United States. I can guarantee you that. Let's see. Well, for once, I'm actually finding a product that was actually made in the United States. And it's my mass airflow cleaner. But enough of that. For you guys having problems and having no shift problems, and you changed out computers, you changed out wires, you changed out practically everything that you can possibly think of, the one thing that you probably forgot to do, and it has to be done with all Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and yada 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 that's made by this particular brand, everything has to be reprogrammed. It has to be reprogrammed by the dealer, unless you have the software to reprogram it yourself, which is basically a copy of what the dealer has, and you need to have a computer that can springboard or use a serial port or USB port for a OBD2 port. Unfortunately, it's not like my Honda here. My Honda has a OBD2 port and a USB port where I can pull diagnostic from both either or and reprogram it and let me flash and do whatever I need to do with my phone through that launch program. So you guys out there, happy wrenching. Don't pull your hair out. Don't frustrate yourself. This is something simple. This is easy. And this can actually work if we actually knew exactly what was going on with your vehicle. This is why us mechanics, we enter your VIN number into a database. And it doesn't matter where your vehicle was worked on unless you worked on it yourself and you never entered your VIN number in a computer. Will never register what was done. But any other repair shop, whether it's Meineke, Amco, Mom and Pop Repair Shop, Smith and Brothers Repair Shop, any of the dealerships, any car lot, or anyone that put that VIN number in a computer, when you actually go to this website, and it's only for technicians, anyone who's ASE certified has access to this. You can pull up that VIN number and you can see the vehicle history but in a 50 state wide comparison, and not just a dealership comparison the way most dealers show you. I'm going to make a video on that the next time around, on how I look up vehicles and what was done to these vehicles. But for right now, I'm going to end this video right here. I am super tired. It is getting late. As you can see, the sun is about to set in another hour or so. And I want to get cleaned up, washed up, and get something to eat. So you guys out there, happy wrenching. Keep your hands dirty. Safety glasses, always. Doesn't matter whether you're working above the vehicle or underneath the vehicle. Please put on your safety glasses. Eyes are very important than how much money you are making working on a vehicle. Safety comes first before anything. Unfortunately, I didn't have to go underneath the vehicle. Everything was done on top, but I still wear my safety glasses for precautions, because I never know what's going to come out flying at my face. So good luck, guys. Hopefully this video can actually help a couple of you out there that are struggling through the same problem or having the same problem and already bypassed the system the way they have on this vehicle. And the reprogramming of this vehicle must happen. If it doesn't happen, you're never going to go nowhere. And that's by the dealership's word, as you heard. It has to be reprogrammed. It has several steps that has to be reprogrammed, meaning the calibration number has to match your VIN number. The control modular that you replaced and installed must have the VIN number and the proper calibration number. Without that, your vehicle is not going to go into gear. I don't care if you swap it out with a new one, unless that new one specifically asks for your VIN number and the details of that VIN number sticker plate that I showed you that has the proper calibration numbers. You ain't gonna go nowhere. So I'm gonna end the video here. Good luck. God bless. Keep your hands dirty.